Females, bro. These girls out here is crazy these days. And they put on a front. Like my dad has told me a story. He was engaged before my mom, but the girl was put on the front like she really was into her faith or whatever. Man, he kind of saw some signs, whatever, broke it off with her. Next thing you know, his tires are slashed, his clothes is took out the car. So these girls know how to put on the front. They're getting slicker and slicker. I used to think dudes was worse than females. I don't really know anymore. I don't know. So I think it is. I think it is hard, but it's gonna happen one day. I'll probably meet her overseas.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Y'all heard it.
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Rome, back with another video. If you're new to the platform, welcome to the tribe. By the end of this video, subscribe. So I figured, man, with me recently getting into Thailand, as you can tell from the background, yo, it's really bad when we got 6'7" millionaires, 6'7" millionaires over here talking about going overseas to find a wife. It's getting bad when the top 1% of men who have their pick of the litter are going overseas. And women still want to sit over here and say, oh, y'all broke and y'all. It's men with money that are going overseas. But I'll do you one better. And I typically don't do this. But give me 1 second, you guys. Because apparently we're broke. Let me show y'all something real quick. All right. This is my executive suite. And that's the bedroom back there. Bathroom, kitchen. All right. Shit ain't cheap. But let's keep it moving.
Well, I don't necessarily think that passport bros are finding genuine romantic connections either. The women want papers or some sort of escape from their life, and then the men are just the man just wants to provide and have a trad wife that he can bring to the United States. So they're both. It's kind of a transactional deal.
But look, I think what's happening is a lot of men are not finding success with dating in the West, in the United States, and so they're going to where they are appreciated, which is overseas. If you can't find women who appreciate you, then they're going elsewhere.
Yeah, but
these nuts.
Yeah, but nothing. And I love when women want to use the term transactional when they talk about passport bros. Passport bros are literally leaving the U.S. because the U.S. women are becoming transactional. So let me tell. I got a question for the ladies. If the women in the West are becoming more transactional, and y'all think foreign women are transactional, and foreign women are raised to be wives and U.S. women are not, who do you think men are going to choose between the two? They're going to take the lesser of the two evils and they're going to go with the foreign woman that's going to treat them well, even if it is transactional, because y'all are coming off just a transactional in the U.S. now. So that transactional excuse, that's a bunch of bullshit now, because I guarantee you all the women at that table probably wanted a man that can make enough money to keep them at home, just like all the women that come on these panels do. So when they say transactional, it's a bunch of bullshit. Let's keep it moving.
I don't understand is you say communicating with women in your country is difficult, but you'll go to another one where there's a language barrier and try to find a wife and or a girlfriend. So you're willing to put in the work to be with a woman from a different country, but you can't figure it out in your own country where you guys share the same language. At some point in time, you have to self-reflect and figure out what your true issue is.
Because there's no way in the world it's easier to go to a different country and find a woman unless that woman is being with you and or has a different motive. Because what I'm starting to hear is some of these men are going to these different countries and now their life is at risk because the natives are starting to realize, hey, y'all aren't coming over here with the right intentions. I've never understood the passport bro situation. How you gonna go to a different country to find a wife and then bring her back here? Do you know how much work that takes? Like, how do you build a relationship strong enough in that amount of time? What, you can't drive down the street to find a connection, but you can get on a plane and go to a different country frequently just to build a relationship? Make it make sense. I'll make it make sense for you. How about the fact that I've had you on my channel numerous times and all you've done is complain about everything women do in Western society? How about we start there? Jeff A., however you say your fucking name. I was kind of shocked when I saw him say this. I came across this clip a few days ago, and then one of my members, Jamal Fowler, sent it to me as well. I was a bit shocked because for somebody who pretty much built his content off of holding women accountable for the unrealistic shit that they talk about, for you to turn around and say, well, why are Passport Bros doing it? For all the reasons why you talk about women on your channel. That's why. Oh, and for the record, man, porque aprendemos el idioma. Yeah, learn how to translate that. Because apparently you think that ain't none of these people going to these other countries and learning the language. Yeah.
I'm having some issues with the girls that they are bringing home to me. All of the girls are this, they are all this, and they are all beautiful. But I am this close to trying to talk them into being passport bros. Have you guys heard of that? Or I am this close to starting like my own Bridgerton, to where I will like go out and look for families that are good enough to be able to be with my family and my sons, and with daughters that are good people. So if you are one of those mothers that are like, I don't want my daughter to be with someone that's like this or crazy, and you want someone who has a son that has been raised well by a single mother and that is like a good man, please hit me up. Because let me tell you, these hoochies these boys are bringing home to me, I am making them cry. And now it's getting to the point to where, like, I'm scared they're not going to bring them home to me. But I'm sorry, if you are below par, you are not going to be marrying my son, nor will I allow you to, like, date him. No. I've worked too hard. I have sacrificed too much, and I have blood, sweat, and tears into my two older sons. I have sacrificed everything.
Yeah, that's the end of the clip, y'all. Shout out to Brazil, yes. He was the one that posted that. Make sure y'all subscribe to that brother's channel too, man. Let me tell you something. I've actually had a mother on my channel before. Shout out to Lily. Not Lily Tate. This is another Lily D. Rose, actually. Hispanic woman, had her on my channel a while ago, like when my channel first started growing. She had a son who had just turned 18. He did not like what he was seeing in the dating market. She said, I don't like what I'm seeing as well. She started watching my channel and other people's channels. She went and got her son a passport. She bought her son a passport. So when I tell you it's getting that bad to the point where you're starting to see more and more women that are like, I'm going to get my son a passport and he's going to go overseas and find a woman because I don't like what my sons are bringing home. This is what I'm talking about, ladies. Y'all can't see. This is why when y'all say, all men are trash. And I'm like, bro, there are mothers out here that don't like what their sons are bringing home. Now, see, the first thing a woman will say is, well, he need to choose better. Funny, because when we say that to y'all, it go through one ear and out the other. So why come it only applies to men? Yeah, I thought so. Let's keep it moving.
That's
why men have to leave this country and get up out of here and go find somebody from somewhere else. You know why? It's because those cultures, those women are held accountable. Those cultures have women that are humble, that will get down and say, I'm sorry, I apologize. I didn't mean to do that. Please forgive me. If they make mistakes, if they mess up. Over here, you don't have that. There's too many of y'all queens sitting on some imaginary throne, and you broke. How you broke? In fact, all of that stuff, and you a queen. How many queens you done seen sitting on a throne that's 350 pounds, 400 pounds, 600 pounds? They come up in here and tell me, I never had a problem getting a man, even though I weigh 600 pounds. Think about the lies they tell. We got the career, we making all this money, we doing big, we got the bag. If you doing big and bad, how come you gotta fake a kidnapping? How come you gotta fake getting hit with a brick? There's a website I saw where she was in school, a PhD candidate. They brag about the damn degrees, but you sitting over here faking getting hit with bricks for GoFundMe money. Come on, Guru.
So, I don't know if you're gonna like that. Like, I'm not really gonna apologize for stuff.
Yo, he went off. But notice how the woman at the end, you ain't gonna like what I say, but I'm not on no apology tour. Okay, then get the fuck off my podcast then. Because if a man did risk their life for her, they could have potentially lost their life.
This is why men are going overseas. This is why men are leaving and saying, look, it's all good. Do y'all. Hey, we support you, sis. We support you, sis. It's all good. And going overseas to get one who could handle all of that. You know what I'm saying? Good wife, good mother, cook, clean, make sure you good and everything. Yeah. The woman in America wasn't no cheaper. But it wasn't no cheaper. But once she gets the visa, how you know she gonna stay with you? But I'm just saying, to me, it's a bigger risk to marry someone who, like you said, don't have the skills to do the things that you're looking for in a wife. Yeah. Why am I gonna marry someone who don't have the skills and using that as an excuse? That's not even saying, hey, let me go and get the skills. Yeah. Let me go get with grandma. Yeah. At grandma, can she get the dust off of that cookbook?
Ladies, y'all really need to educate yourself on passport bros. If y'all really knew anything about passport bros, then y'all would know one of the number one rules is don't bring women back to the States. Y'all think all these men are going overseas to get a wife and bring them back. I'm like, that's how I know y'all watch 90 Day Fiance too damn much.
These men go to countries where there are poor women and fight them because they won't submit to men with nothing and they know that. So I'm from a poor country. I was born in a poor country, and it's funny because my family back home, my aunts, they're lawyers. And these aunts that are lawyers, they submit to men. They're very feminine. They still take care of the home. They still have that feminine energy. They're still traditional. But they have a career. So it's very interesting that people just assume that everybody in foreign countries are all poor and they don't have an education. A lot of these women have better educations than a lot of the women in the West. But guess what? Even though they have education, they keep their feminine side. They don't let that education take over and bring them into their masculine energy. And they're not feminists. Also, you know, the thing is that there are a lot of poor women in the West, actually in America and Canada. There's a lot of single moms that are living off of the government. There's a lot of poor women. So the women that usually ask for the most in the West usually have the least to offer. That's what I've noticed. And they usually have the most baggage. So it is quite ignorant for women to talk about other women in other countries and put them down. Because what you're doing right there, you are putting them down. When in reality, in the West, it's not great.
Thank you. And this is one of the main reasons why men are leaving. Women think that men are intimidated by women's success. No, it's everything else that comes with it that y'all seem to have no control over. Why women in the West need to ask themselves, why is it that women in these other foreign countries, how is it that they can have careers and still be feminine and submissive to their husband, but we are not capable of doing that in the West? That's the question y'all need to ask yourselves. Let's keep it moving.
Russian women don't need feminism, they don't like it, and feminism will never spread in Russia. And let me explain you why. So the basics of feminism is women going against men. But in Russia, we already have a shortage of men. Believe me or not, my generation is still recovering after World War II, when all the men left and all the women were left behind with the hard work, working in the factories, raising kids, standing in line for hours for basic essentials like food, while women in America were basically locked out of the house as a housewives. So now imagine that all the kids, especially boys, that were raised by single mothers, what kind of examples they had in front of them? That the mother has to work, after that come home and take care of kids, husbands. That's why in Russia we have such a problem with an aggressive and demanding man that want women not only go to work, but come home after work and take care of kids in a man itself. And now you have the main idea of feminism that women have to work even more. And Russian women want nothing more than a caring husband, providing for the family, helping with chores, and raising their kids, which is a rarity for Russia. Plus, we still have a shortage of men. For every man, there are 3 to 5 women. And because of our political situation right now, we are still losing men. So that's why instead of women against men movement, we have women coming together to support and save the men that we have today. Mothers of the soldiers, sisters, wives of the soldiers are made women, and they are protected by the government. In 2018, okay, some activists and bloggers, more of my generation, started pushing this movement in the mass. But as you can guess, they got shut down pretty quickly by the government. And now, not even women needed in our country.
Is that true? Passport bros are broke? Nah, not really. We're talking about pensioners here. The guys with money are the U.S. veterans. They're the ones with money. You guys don't even know how much money these guys have. I'm thinking roughly 10 G's just doing nothing. They did 20, they're 20, did that. Oh, Lord, you guys don't understand how much money these guys have. Doing nothing, they can just travel the world, do nothing, and not worry about finances. If y'all were trying to get with the older guys, get with the pensioners that are veterans. So
Now I'm going to show you guys some reasons why men are leaving that really don't have anything to do with women.
So here's how much it costs to live in Bali as an American who's been here for about 2 years. And just for reference, $100 is equal to 1.5 million Indonesian rupiah. So your money goes a long way. First up, we have rent. For the past few months, I've spent about $500 a month, and that includes everything from utilities, housekeeping, maid service, all that shit. So you have nothing else to worry about. Next up, we have food. And while I am on a very strict diet, I still eat out for every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And still, some way, I've only managed to spend $450 this month, and I eat out a lot. Next up, we have transportation, and recently I did purchase my own bike, but when I was renting one, it would cost me about $90 a month, and then I would spend maybe an extra, I'd say $40 to $50 a month whenever I needed to go long distances, and I just decided to hire a driver. Next up, we have what I like to call my fun shit category, and this is activities like kayaking, going on yachts and shit like that, going to pottery classes, riding ATVs, beach clubs, all that shit. And I'll spend about $200 because stuff in Bali is pretty cheap, and there's a lot of free shit. And finally, we have my miscellaneous expenses like my training at the gym, going to get dentist appointments, doctor's appointments, any work that I have to do like recording and shit like that, visa runs, flights and all that good shit. And for this, I'd say I spend on average about $300 every single month. So over the past few months, I've averaged spending about $1,600 every single month living in Bali. So if you're planning on coming here, this is pretty much what you can expect.
1,600. Just to do the math for you guys, that's 18,000 a year. So if you're an average earner and you happen to be able to work remote, an average earner from the U.S., and we know how much average earner from the U.S. make. You do the math. That leaves you with quite a bit money left to spend and save, doesn't it?
What standards do Japanese women have that differ from Western women? Good question. Do you want to go ahead, John?
Japanese women are very feminine. They're very demure. They're very modest. They're not combative. They're not trashy. They're not outspoken and loud and obnoxious. They are very honorable women in the sense that they don't just do something and think like, oh, what is this effect going to have on me? They think, oh, what is this going to make my dad look like? What is this going to make my mom look like? What is this going to make my grandma look like? What's this going to make my uncle look like? So that's a really good girl to have around, a woman that considers what her actions are going to affect not only her, but everybody around her.
And notice the woman that they call Bangs that does OnlyFans. Notice when he was saying all those things, particularly being honorable, the first thing they did was point the camera at her because you know she don't give a damn.
I travel outside the country. I see a lot of foods here that are banned in other places in the world. Banned. You can't even sell it legally in a grocery store, and it's everywhere here in the United States.
Crazy, yeah.
What is that?
I mean, there's a whole plethora of foods that are like that. In particular, certain additives that we use in the U.S., like certain food dyes, are outlawed. You know, many of them have been found to contribute to ADHD in children and also carcinogens. And also, there's this new category of contaminants that we have a lot of data on now called obesogens. All right, so these are obesity-causing agents. Have you guys talked about like the difference between ultra-processed food and processed food before?
I was going to ask you that part too,
Okay,
but go
okay.
for it. Yeah.
All right, so humans have been processing foods forever, taking the olives and pressing the oil out, or coconuts pressing the oil out. So processing is not the issue. You can still tell where those foods came from. Ultra-processed foods, these are foods that when you see like a field of corn or a field of wheat, and somehow that shit becomes Pop-Tarts or a bowl of Lucky Charms.
Okay, yeah.
Right, or Funyuns, right?
Why is our government allowing this to happen?
An analysis that was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association looked at how this is happening. How can we go to Jack in the Box and get 2 for 99-cent tacos, but an avocado costs $3? One avocado that falls off a tree costs more than 2 cost-intensive tacos, including all the meat, all the so-called vegetables, all the processing of making it, the wrapping, the marketing, all that stuff is very cost-intensive. How does that cost less? And what it is because of government subsidies. So this study found that the U.S. government had contributed about $200 billion over this 15-year time span to companies, processed food companies, essentially, that are making products that end up coming through the drive-through window and in processed foods. So genetically modified wheat, corn, soy, because when we go to the grocery store, it looks like a whole bunch of diversity, but it's a lot of that's made from the same shit. This other analysis found that they looked at who's consuming these government subsidized foods. They found that, in particular, low-income communities and people who had the highest intake of government subsidized foods had a 30% greater incidence of having obesity, type 2 diabetes, inflammation, all these things. Yeah. And then that, by nature, and this is another one of the things that's proven in the science, when we reach these states, it's more difficult to make it out of poverty. And so it becomes this vicious circle. And so the truth is, the system that we have allowed to be built is profiting from our sickness. It's profiting from our ignorance. It's profiting from our pain. We have a $4.2 trillion healthcare system, and we have the sickest nation in the history of humanity. Something's not adding up.
Because the U.S. government is greedy as hell. I ain't afraid to say it. I'm like, this is the reason why I don't vote. This is the reason why y'all come over here and try to shit on me for liking Candace Owens' takes on relationships, because I don't give a fuck about politics. And this is exactly why. Because deep down, I always felt like our government was suspect. Suspect as hell, man. And they're all about profit, bro. And they use us as a people for that profit.
The most significant way Japan differs from my home country is that it differs in every way imaginable. I guess I go back to the peace. I think for me as a black person, I've always grown up hearing the notion you have to put on your armor and armor up before you leave the house and you enter out into the world. And while I think that there's still that reality that as a Black individual, wherever you are, there's a certain armor that you have to still wear, I find living here, I don't feel I need to be armored up. And when I walk out the house, I have to be ready to go and just ready at all times. I think that for me is the most significant difference, is that just that peace of mind that I have, and that ability to not have to prepare myself and armor up before I leave the house.
Peace. Something that men say they value so much in the West, but women don't want to give it to them. So men are going elsewhere to find it. In countries that are that have far less crime rates, better food, better health care, everything that you just saw in the last 3 to 4 clips. Ladies, it ain't just about y'all. It's really not. And if y'all actually did y'all homework, instead of just going off of what you see on TikTok or YouTube of a few men showing off some foreign women, y'all would actually know better. Reach out to some real passport bros so that way you can know what it really means. Otherwise, y'all just blowing smoke and trying to control our narrative, and we're not going to let you do it. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this, man. If you're new to the platform, please subscribe. OGs, I appreciate the love and support. Make sure y'all hit that bell notification. That way y'all know when I'm uploading. Hit the like button because it helps with the algorithm and helps me reach a broader audience. Also, look out for the travel vlog channel on Flood Traveler. Link is in the description, as well as my latest mixtape, Neo Trap Volume 2. And if you want to purchase any other merch, sprayshot.com link is in the description. Until the next video, y'all. Deuces.